topic of creating an Alexa skill. So assume that you are very new to voice skills. So what do you mean by skill? In mobile, what we call as app, in voice we call it a skill. So basically it is interchangeable, right? And assume that you are pretty new to programming. You have never done programming in the past. Can you still create an Alexa skill? Yes, you can do it. So segment 1 of this section will deal with creation of an Alexa skill with zero programming effort. Section 2 will deal with customization. So you want to write a customized code and have your skill respond to it. Yes, absolutely we can do that. And for that we will make use of AWS Lambda. So if you are not comfortable with AWS or neither familiar with all the other services of AWS, do not worry, because expertise in cloud is not required for following this particular session. So let me not delay any further. Let's get on to segment number 1. So those who are residing in India, you can log on to blueprints.amazon.in and create a ID and credentials in this site. It is absolutely free. And if you are residing in a different country, say for example US, you can go to blueprints.amazon.com. The idea is the servers which are located in each of the country, they start serving your Alexa from there. So it is much easier for you to go ahead and publish your skills in that appropriate server. Other than that, all the other features remains the same. We don't see any differences. So once you have logged in, and this segment, as I mentioned earlier, it is with zero coding effort. Now what you see here is a set of blueprints. Blueprints in the sense they are pre-coded templates wherein you have to just provide some features. Say for example, let me take this learning and knowledge quiz, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now I'll say make your own quiz. So I will give a set of questions, answers, and some trivia about it, and I can keep adding how many ever I want. I can keep adding. Say for example, I will say let me get an historical fact. What is the capital of Tamil Nadu? It's not a historical fact, it is a truth. Chennai. So I will also say a follow-up fact saying that Chennai is one of the 4 metropolis in India, right? Now I have metropolitan cities in India. Now spell check. Okay, now I'll go to say experience. Let's say okay, you want to say some introduction about your quiz and what type of music you want to hear when it is launched. You can choose any of the category, and this quiz you can play with 4 players max. So even if none are there, you are the only one available, Alexa will play it with you, or you can select how many players are available. Alexa has all the pre-coded notation wherein it will start asking each of the player in a round robin way. It will calculate the marks and will even announce the winner. So here you can even say that okay, if your answers are right, what type of response you want to give, what type of music you want to add to it. If the person says a wrong answer, what type of response should come and what type of music should accompany it. So this is all left to your imagination, how you want to design this app, right? But remember, you are not doing any coding over here. Now I'll say next name. You can give any name, saying that the sample quiz, and click on create. The moment you do it, it will be launched. And once it is launched, you can invoke it using your Alexa devices. It can be any of the device, it can be an Alexa Dot or any of the Amazon family devices, and it will be made available to you. You can try it out. It just takes few minutes of your time, and then you can come back and keep adding as many questions as you want. And I have done it already. I'm not going to do it right now. Yep. And this is one example which I gave you. There are too many templates available, flashcards, listening quiz, so you can explore here. The beauty of this particular feature is zero coding. All you need to think is, okay, what is the content which you want, and the accompanying musics, the accompanying trivias, and all the other attributes of that particular feature. That is what you need to think. You need not know how it works in the backend. It's all pre-coded for you. So this is a very simple way of getting started with Alexa, right? So I will definitely request you to try this out. The disadvantages in this method is, when it works for the blueprints which is being given, if you want to have specific application which needs to be written, you want it to customize it, this code cannot be customized because you don't even get to see the code. It is more of a configuration of your content, not the code. So in such cases, we make use of Lambda. So we will get on to the segment number 2. Segment number 2, what we are going to do is log into developers.amazon.com. It's a free site. You need not pay anything, even you need not enter your credit cards here. And there you see a lot of features available. I'm going to select Amazon Alexa. So once you have selected it, I will go ahead and say developer console, Alexa developer console. Yep. Now you can create any skills. So I will say create skill. You need to give a skill name. I will say a sample skill. Then which language you want to use, it's English. And now I'm going to say it is a custom skill because I'm going to build it on my own, and it allows you to do it in Node.js or in Python as the primary language. In my case, we will go ahead with Python, because what I'm going to do is, the last video we developed a weather bot using AWS Lex and Lambda. I'm going to reuse a portion of the code so it will be easier for us to follow. And those who haven't seen the video, in the description section of this particular video I have given the link of it, so you can take a look at it. And the code is also provided, the GitHub link is also provided in the description section. Okay, so I am choosing Python and I will say hit create skill. It is going to go ahead and create it. I have already done it. I will show that to you. In fact, I have already even deployed it. It is available. So let's go to the cool weather skill. So that's the one which I created. The first thing which will be asked is invocation. What is invocation? Invocation is, you have to give a name on how you want to invoke that skill. Once that skill is available from your voice device, how do you want to call it? So you need to give a name to it. I have given a name check weather. Though it looks to be a more common name, you can have any specific names. Brand names are not allowed because it is protected by the proprietorship, but you can give any name, right? And then once you have given a name, and after you have built the skills and deployed, you will be calling that skill using this name, check whether. Alright, when I go to the interaction model, intents. So for those who are beginning new, let me do a quick recap. Intent is nothing but the objective of your command, what you are trying to achieve. And intent will have a lot of utterances which basically conveys the same thing. Say for example, let me take a very simple example. Greet is an intent, and the way you can greet a person is a number of ways. So each of the ways is called as an utterance. Say for example, hi is an utterance, hello is an utterance, uh, welcome is an utterance. So you have a number of ways of achieving an intent. Again, all these are not very specific to Alexa. We have seen this in the Lex itself. And what is a slot? A slot is nothing but a variable. So if I'm going to say I want to know the weather in Chennai, then Chennai becomes a slot because that is a variable. And that Chennai can be replaced with Mumbai, Paris, France, Boston, anything, right? So, but the intent is I want to know the weather, and the slot of the utterance, because utterance is nothing but a way to convey my intent. And if I say hey, I'm interested to know the weather in Chennai, the statement itself is a utterance, and Chennai becomes the slot. So here there are two types of intents available in Alexa. One is inbuilt intent, and the other one will be your custom intent, which is something you define. So inbuilt intent, in either case, if you want to do it, just go ahead and click add intent. You will be shown two different libraries. Create custom intent, where you can go ahead and create an intent, or use an existing intent. The moment you click an existing intent, it will give you an idea on saying that hey, there are so many intents inbuilt. Say for example, I click on the general, it tells me when the application is getting closed, you can make use of this, or when that is deactive, you can make use of it, or there is a particular form and there is something getting added, you can make use of it. So fundamentally it gives you a bunch of options to make your life easier, but not necessarily you need to use it. You can always go ahead and say create custom intent and give a name there. Say for example, I already have a greet intent, so I'm going to give a greet intent, right? Now I'm going to say create custom intent. Now I can give anything here. So hi, which is already there. Then I can say hello, hello, I can give it, and so on and so forth, right? And then I go ahead and hit save. It will be saved. I'm not going to save this because I already have a greet intent. So let me show you the intents which I have. So this greet intent which I just created, I don't want it, I'm deleting it. So I have already created a greet intent where I hi, hello, and all the other things. I don't have a slot because this is a utterances where you don't have slots. I can keep adding. You can even say welcome. Yep. Now once you have done it, you have to go and save it. I've saved it. Now other intents which I have created, I have created greet. I have created a goodbye intent. A goodbye, just say goodbye, bye, thank you. You can add more. And the other one which I have created is inquire whether, where I have a slot. I'm saying that, say for example, I'm interested to know the weather in, open up a curly brace, it will show you what slot which you already have. Otherwise you can create a new slot. So here I already have a city name, so I'm going to say that and add it. I'm interested to know the weather in, then you can give any name there as part of your interaction, right? I'm going to save it, right? And I have already added that, saying that name indicates an city. Maison US city doesn't mean that it is cities in US, but cities which are prominent in the globe and listed as part of the catalog in the US language. The English differs with Amazon US as well as UK English. Here I'm talking about the US as a parameter. So don't think it is just cities of US, right? Now once I've saved it, I'll say build model. Now build model is going to take some time. So basically what we have done here is we have just created a skill and we have added few intents and to be very specific, 3 types of intents we have added. One is a welcome or a greet intent, the other one is a goodbye intent, and third is an enquire whether. Out of these 3 intents, only the enquire whether has the slot, the city name. Other than that, I have not done anything complex. Now all this is done on this particular Alexa console, right? The building model is going to take some time. Yep, the build is completed. There are, yep, as you see here, there are no errors or no warnings. But now the interesting fact is, I understand when I say a hi or a hello or a bye, that is, you don't really require a lot of action there. But when I say I want to know the weather, I really need to take the city name, go back to a database, check the weather and come back and report into you. So that means some amount of coding has to be done. So I'm going to go log into AWS, right? And I'm going to choose Lambda. Lambda is your serverless feature which has the ability to scale on its own, where you need not provide any explicit machine configuration. It will scale on its own and it will start serving. So I have already written an Alexa Lambda for you. Otherwise, if you are new, the way you need to do it is go to dashboard. Yep, it is already there. You have to say create function, author it from scratch, give a name, select whichever language you want. I'm going to select Python. I'm going to select a 3.7 version. You need not change this. Advanced setting, you need not do anything. All this will be more into AWS. You need not know about a VPC. Just hit create function. You will get a editor, say like this. Once you hit a create function, it's taking some amount of time. Yep. I'm going to get an editor where I'm going to write a code, right? And this is the place where a developer can start playing around and do whatever they want, right? Now I will explain the code in a minute, but before that, whenever you create a Lambda and save it, the name, you will get a ARN, which is Amazon Resource Identifier. Copy this. Now this is going to be the link between your Alexa as well as your code base. So once you have copied it, go back to the developer console, scroll down, you have something called endpoint. There, whatever is there, you need to remove, and in the default region, paste the one which you have copied. That is absolutely important, because now what you are telling Alexa is, when you launch a skill and user starts interacting with it, you need to consult this code which is available at this endpoint to know how to respond back. So that is what it indicates. So you need to copy that ARN here, and once you have done it, you need to say save endpoints. So now you have basically linked your Alexa skill and your AWS. Both were independent. Now it is linked with this particular Lambda, right? Now this Lambda is basically a event driven function. What I mean by that is, if you are a person who is familiar with Visual Basic, you might have already come across event driven languages, wherein once a particular skill is launched, there will be a function which is called, and when the skill is closed, what needs to be done, so on and so forth. So you need not worry about the whole template. The template is already given to you. I have copied it in the GitHub and made it public. What you need to just think is how to customize it. Say for example, I have added a greet intent. So if it is going to be a greet, then write a function, whatever name you want. Here I said get greet response and call it out. And tomorrow you're going to write another intent saying that process. If the intent name is process, then say get process response, anything, and go ahead and define that function. So for example, get greet response is here. Where is that? Get greet response. I have just said, say welcome to the cool world of weatherbot. Please let me know the city for getting the weather. You can write whatever you want. So as you keep adding custom intent to your Alexa, all you need to do is come here to the code base and add a particular section or a if condition saying that if the intent name is so and so, what is that you want to do, and write a function and write whatever logic you want to do with it. So if I remember well, there are three intents which I have added here, the custom intents. One is the greet, other is a goodbye, and the third is the inquire weather. So I'm defining all three here. A greet, I'm saying that call a greet response, and for inquire weather, I'm going to say inquire weather, but here I'm passing parameter because inquire weather, if you remember, has a slot in it. And then I have a goodbye intent if I'm not wrong. So I'm just saying where it is. Yep, it's here. So whether it is a cancel or stop or goodbye, I'm going to say call a end request. So I'm going to go ahead and write the code, whatever I want. Say in the greet, I have just said display this message or read out this message and prompt them to enter a city name. Once they have entered a city name, then what will happen is inquire weather will be called, and get inquire weather. Here this is the same code which I am reusing from the previous logic, that is in the Amazon AWS Lex video, where I am logging on to a site called as apiweatherstack.com. Once you log in there, you will be given access key. You need to enter your access key there. Whatever you see here will not work because I will be changing it after I publish this video. And the city input will be coming in as a parameter, because if you remember, I'm passing the session as an input parameter. So I will take that slot which has the name and take that as a city input and call this particular API with this parameters. One is the login number, login ID, and the other is the city input. And whatever I get the response, I'm going to put it back saying that this is my speech output, right? So for a programmer, now this is your playground. You can write it to a database, or you can write it to a file, or you can call a what you call a non-relational database or a relational database, and do whatever logic you want. This is a customizable code, right? And once you have done all this, then you need to go ahead and save it and click on deploy. Now this particular code is connected to this particular Alexa. So how do you test it? So I will go here there is a test. Go to the test, and remember, if you are changing anything on this developer console, you might need to go ahead and build it again. Say for example, I'm changing an intent, or I'm changing any of the endpoints, better build it. But if you are changing anything in the Lambda side, you need not build a code here. because they are loosely coupled. So any changes to the Lambda doesn't need you to build, because always this endpoint will take the latest code available there. So let us just check it out. Let us say run check whether. If you remember, this is the phrase which I gave when we were creating the skill. Check whether. Hit enter.
A warm welcome to Cool Weather Skill. Please enter your city name you want to know weather.
So where does this come from? If you really see the Lambda, this is the one which we gave in the welcome session, that is when it is getting launched. We have given that. So the first time when it is getting launched, it will go ahead and say where it is. Welcome response. This is where you are taking it. Now I'm going to interact with it. I'm going to say hi.
Welcome to the cool world of WeatherBot. Please let me know name of city for getting weather.
So hi is identified as a greet intent, and the moment it sees a greet intent, it is going to call this code, where it is going to call this code get greet response. So when it says greet response, this is the one which you see there. And inside greet, this is something the card title I have given. If you want to know where it is, see. So this is the Alexa response which you get from your device, right? And this is the whole debugging environment which will help you to understand how things works, right? So this is the log which is getting all created for you to know how things are working, but need not worry about it. Now I'm going to say weather in Chennai.
Current temperature in Chennai is 31 C. To continue, please enter another city name.
Let's say no, I don't want to continue. I'm going to say bye.
Thank you for trying the cool weather bot. Have a nice day.
It's done. So what really has happened is, whenever you enter here, or in fact you can even push this and speak, it will interpret it, and it identifies the intent, and then it goes to the endpoint, calls the code, and then fires the appropriate procedure. Assume that you have given something which it couldn't understand, which doesn't fall under any intent. You have your Amazon fallback intent, where it will say, hey, you know what, I didn't understand what you really meant. So you have a fallback response also. So I can say, sorry, I couldn't understand what you meant. Please enter the city name to know the weather. So basically, I'm not going to get too much into the code, because as you might know, it works on an event-driven mode. So it identifies the intent, propagates it, and whatever you have written as a user-defined code, it is going to go ahead and call it. For the first time developers who are going to try out, the challenge which I had in this architecture is it works well when everything is functioning well, but code is a code. So you are trying some new logic and assume that you have gone wrong in a syntax, or your logic is looping out somewhere, and you made difficulty levels increases when you want to troubleshoot it. And that is where this particular environment, what you see, helps you. So this is basically whenever you type something, right, the Alexa forms a JSON and passes it on to AWS, and this is the output which you get from the Lambda. So if you don't get the right response, you might need to use this for troubleshooting. I'll show you an example. Say for example, let us go back and see the greet intent itself. Now let's take this. Welcome to the cool world of WeatherBot. Right, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead, say for example, I'm going to just remove this Now it is basically a syntax error. Now assume that you have done some error like this and you don't even know that there was an error. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Saved. I'm going to deploy it. Deployed. But remember, you had a syntax error here because you removed there is that greet. Yep, we have just removed the syntax, right? I go to developer console. I'm going to go ahead and say run check weather. Check weather.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
So now it just says that hey, there was some problem with your code, but it doesn't tell you what exactly it is. So in such case, to debug it, take this input, because you know that this is the input which has gone in, but you didn't get the output right. So I'm going to go ahead. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say copy. I copied it. I'm going to go to Alexa and I'm going to create a test event. I'm going to say create a test event. I'm going to give a name sample check 1, and whatever is there I'm going to remove that. This is taking some time. Let me just scroll down and do it. Yep, removed it, and I'm going to paste whatever I got it there, right? And I'm going to hit create. So I have to give a sample check 1. I'm going to say create. It's created. Now I want to test it with sample check 1 and click. It says there is an error, and it says the error is in line number 39. There is a error, and in fact it even tells you that it is a syntax error. So I go to Lambda function. It told me line number 39. Yep, this is fair. So I could see a syntax error, fix it up. Then again you need to save it and deploy it. If you don't deploy, it will not take in the executable. Now go back to your developer console. Probably I will just go out of this so that it refreshes, and then I'll go back to the test. I'm going to say run check weather. It works.
A warm welcome to Cool Weather Skill. Please enter your city name you want to know weather.
So you have a proper JSON input and proper JSON output. So that is the way you debug it, right? So once you have done all this, you can click on distribution and select which all the countries you want this skill set to be available, and you need to give some give an assurance that there is nothing offensive in your skills. It is not targeted at children below 18, and so on and so forth, and then click on certification. It normally takes 24 hours, wherein Alexa team does a complete code walkthrough, and if there are any and they also do a very good level of testing, and if there are issues or they have defects, they will mail you very clearly saying that this is the defect, how to recreate the scenario, and they will even give you guidelines on how to fix the defect. And once that is all done, it will be published and it will be made available. It's a little lengthy procedure, but the reports are very comprehensive. You will definitely love it. So good luck with your Alexa skill. If you have questions, please leave it in the comment. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Hope you enjoyed it.